Hello to everybody, our dear subscribers. FutureTrend channel is again with you, and today is 26th of October 2018. Our view of how to trade major currencies in the world foreign exchange market, here it is. And today, as you could see, the euro is under significant selling pressure, mostly because of yesterday's European Central Bank rate decision. And probably there were not any kind of real news in during the press conference conducted by ECB chief Mario Draghi. Anyway, for us it's a little bit surprising that the euro reacted so negatively to the speech, to the questions, to the answers to the questions of ECB's president Mario Draghi. For us, it's really very surprising that Mario Draghi could not convince the market regarding the future path of interest rate in the eurozone. Let's be true that the ECB chief did not change its medium to longer term perspectives regarding the future path of interest rates in the eurozone. Let's be true that he did not mention quite seriously in his speech the situation with Italian budget rise, and also, of course, he told that the last portion of economic data in the eurozone were more or less negative. Anyway, a medium to longer term prospects still remains more or less optimistic from the point of view of ECB's members. And from that point of view, it's a little bit surprising once again that the euro dollar is trading at the moment around 113.70. And we suggest that the market is misinterpreted the Mario Draghi yesterday. Today, probably the news number one is the release of United States advanced gross domestic product, and taking into account the current slump in the price of stock market in the United States, it will be very interesting how these two indicators will impact each other, because we should understand that in case of negative surprise in the United States gross domestic product, the market should reestimate the situation regarding the future path of the Federal Reserve System, and probably in case of negative surprise in the gross domestic product, even the market will postpone next rise in the federal funds interest rate, and the hike already priced in by the market for the December meeting should be moved a little bit further away. And all in all, the market could be really volatile during American trading session. We suggest that really there is a chance that we could see the gross domestic product lower from the expected number of 3.3%. And we suggest that first of all, such kind of currencies like Australian dollar should, or some other commodity block of currencies, should perform reasonably well from that. At the moment, Australian dollar is trading around 0.7040. Let's see the chart of the Aussie. The Aussie plunged to the new lows of this year, below 0.7030. Anyway, there is a psychological barrier of 0.70, and if we look at the daily chart, we could see that the Aussie dollar should remain under the downside pressure while trading below 71.80, where lies current downtrend line of 2018. The same probably applies for the Kiwi dollar, as you could see in the daily chart. Also here is a kind of downtrend line, and also the moving average 200 daily line quite far away from here, around 0.6933. All in all, the commodity block of currencies should stay really suppressed. And the same applies, by the way, for the Canadian dollar, the loonie. Despite of the last interest rate hike from the Bank of Canada we witnessed during this week, the Canadian dollar remains quite weak at the moment. We still keep our short trade recommendation in the currency, initiated at let's see our analysis in the commodity block of currencies, initiated at 31.20. All in all, anyway, the stop loss is very close to the current price. Let's hope that the United States advanced gross domestic product will come in lower, and that should take the dollar Canada lower from here as well. As regarding the dollar ruble, today is the day of Central Bank of Russia interest rate decision. It will be very interesting how the Central Bank of Russia will evaluate the current economic situation, the current Russian ruble, despite, by the way, of the collapse in the emerging market of currencies, despite of the recent plunge in the price of energy prices. Let's see, for example, the Brent. The Brent a couple of weeks ago was trading around 87 level. Now it's 10 figures lower from that highs. And despite of that, the Russian ruble still behaved itself quite strongly. Let's see how the Central Bank of Russia will evaluate the situation with the Russian ruble and current price, external price of the Russian currency. We suggest that probably the level of the Russian ruble is should matter a lot for the Russian central bank. From that point of view, probably the Central Bank of Russia could be back to its former path of lowering its benchmark interest rate. And if we really could see that during today's meeting, probably the Russian ruble will receive, the dollar against Russian ruble will receive some additional boost. We don't know. Let's see. Let's wait for a final verdict from the Central Bank of Russia. That's scheduled for 10:30 GMT time, as I remember. Thank you very much for all of your attention, dear subscribers. We will be back to you next Monday in the morning as usually. Take care and have a nice weekend.